Hi, Islamic Dad here. If you enjoy this video, please subscribe. It does help me out a lot. Today I'm doing a video on the fake discard. This is a topic that I recently came across, and it resonated with me because I had experienced a couple of different flavors of this, in my past relationships. So to clarify, the fake discard is as it sounds, like a fake discard that takes place in the devalue phase. I just want to be clear about that. This is not the physical discard. This is not even the emotional discard. It is a manipulation tactic that happens during the devalue phase. And so typically, the situation will arise where, and I'll use like my own, life experience as an example, where I set a boundary, which is just, radioactive to narcissists. So the narcissist freaked out and was like, well, I guess, you want your boundary more than the relationship, blah blah, and just was like, going off. And we had this like argument that lasted like 15-30 minutes, whatever. And even at the time, I could tell that she was waiting for me to capitulate. It was, it was a very reasonable boundary that I had set on my part. And she was just being a narcissist. She didn't want me to have any boundaries. And so she didn't necessarily have a good reason to object to the boundary. But at the same time, she, fabricated this crisis. And, it was mutual, but basically in her mind, she was like, oh, I'm breaking up with you. I'm leaving you. I'm discarding you. And the thing is, it was over nothing. And it was very much over just this, like me setting a boundary. It wasn't anything that like a normal person would end a relationship on. So next day she called, she begged, she pleaded, she apologized 1,000 times. Yes, the narcissist apologized. The narcissist pleaded and begged. That was the only time. that was a part of her I never saw again in the relationship. But if it works for them, again, I think it's a good manipulation tactic, kind of one that the narcissist does not want to use, but sometimes it's the tool in the toolbox that gets the job done. So that is an example of the typical situation that you would have with a narcissist, where you do something that they don't like. And so they deliberately overreact, fabricate a crisis, and start. And the thing is, they will not just simply, boom, leave. Because that's not the point. The point is they want to put the fear of God into you. They want you to capitulate. So they will fabricate the crisis, and they will push and push and push and raise the stakes and raise the stakes and raise the stakes. But here's the thing. The whole time that's happening, they're there. They're there arguing with you and arguing with you, or sending text. They are doing it because they want you to capitulate. And then if you don't capitulate, they will finally do the fake discard and be like, well, have a nice life, and the typical breakup type stuff. And they will quote, break up with you. But it rings hollow, and depending on the situation and the circumstances, they might just wait for you to reach out to them. That's part of their game, is oh, I want them to reach back out to me and come crawling back, and for you to apologize for setting a healthy boundary for yourself, or apologize for doing nothing wrong. And so that is where they'll go, or they will kind of switch things up. I mean, almost like a Hoover. Like they'll throw out a line to you, hoping you take it. And then once you take it, then they can slowly, start a conversation. And, knowing them, they'll probably be snide and say, like, well, I'm willing to give you a second chance, or something, something like that, and then get back in the relationship. But the key thing is that, like, say that mini breakup, 2-3 days, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, it's not like a real breakup, in that the narcissist knows that they don't want to permanently discard you, and they don't want if you're good supply, then you're good supply at that point. And so that's what I'm saying, is it's important to understand that this is during the devalue phase. So things are not great, but things are not horrible either. And so you'll get back into the relationship with the narcissist. And then at that point, and I'll be honest, I mean, it's tough because I know for myself, like, I continued to set boundaries. But I knew going in that it was, square dancing in a minefield, as the saying goes. I mean, it is rough to navigate setting boundaries with a narcissist, because they're not going to like it. They're going to freak out, and they are most likely going to try to do the fake discard on you. And so you just, at least for me, I just kind of have to be ready to be like, okay, well, that's the price of having healthy boundaries. But the thing is, like, I had to go through that thought process. And that's why the narcissist does that, is because they want to scare and train their partner to be afraid of setting boundaries, or being afraid of disagreeing with the narcissist or anything like that, because they're like, oh my gosh, if I do XYZ, then the narcissist might break up with me again. And that's probably the most typical example of, like, the situation that would cause a fake discard to happen, or in which a narcissist would choose to do a fake discard. The other one that happened to me a couple of times, because I'm just so lucky, is that my narcissist would have fake discards when it was convenient time-wise. So say the narcissist was planning on flying back home across the country, and they were going to spend a week in the state that they originated from, and maybe their ex-boyfriend was there, or maybe the cute guy from college that they never had a chance to hook up with is living in that state. And so, lo and behold, 2 days before she would hop on the airplane to fly back to that state, she would manufacture this fight over less than nothing. I mean, it's one of those things where, like, thinking back, it's hard for me to even, like, piece together what the fight was over. But she would manufacture this fight to have an excuse to be like, oh, I'm breaking up with you. This is over. It's all over. Big thing. Lots of show, lots of hand waving and yelling. So she would, do the fake discard or breakup, go across country, get with her, the guy that she had the crush on in college that she was never able to hook up with in the past, have her fun, fly back, and then after landing for a few days, being back here, be like, oh well, I think I'm gonna like get back together with them now, and then text me and be like, we need to talk, or I think it would be good if we got together, and had lunch to talk about things, and then like, I mean, the thing was, it was very, again, like the breakup felt hollow. It wasn't a real breakup. And so the fact that we would get back together was never in question. It was always like, okay, we'll get back together when we get back together. And so, that happened twice that I know of. And to be clear, I did not know what was going on at the time. I'm not weird. It's just now in retrospect, I can connect the dots and go, oh my God, that is what was going on. But again, it was manipulation so that she could go across the country, have her cake and eat it too. Where and this is something that like I, even now kind of scratch my head on, is that a non-narcissist, say like just your generic toxic person, they would go across country just cheat on their partner and just have an affair, or whatever, hook up with their the guy from college, and then fly back and just try to keep it a secret. Whereas my ex would make sure that she would break up on paper, so to speak, and so that the relationship was over, then go across country, hook up with like the guy from college, and then come back and then be like, still not say anything, but then be like, oh, okay, now we can get back together again. It's just like, you do all this horrible, horrible stuff, but this is where you're like going to like find like a legal loophole so that you feel like you're not being unethical. I don't get it, because the thing is, she did plenty of unethical stuff behind my back during the relationships. I don't know why those particular instances were like, oh no, well, I have to break up with him before I go across country. But yeah, bit of a tangent, but I think it's a good anecdote. So the fake discard is when the narcissist either wants to punish you, basically to train you not to question them, not to confront them, not to argue with them, just to be a good little partner, just sit back there in the corner and just do what I want. Or there's some like strategic reason for it, of like, oh, well, I'm going to break up at this time because I need to do XYZ, and then I'm going to get back together with them at this time. And again, this happens during the devalue phase, not after the emotional discard, not after the physical discard. So again, I am, as usual, if you have any experiences of your own with the narcissist in your life doing fake discards, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. Thanks.